Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing something that I believe should have been done already by now. I'm going to figure out if we can use a PowerMac G5 in 2018, or rather, this day and age.
That I was really scared, shook with fear.
This absolute unit packs two IBM PowerPC G5 processors using the RISC instruction set. Each of these processors is operating at 2 GHz each. In terms of memory, we have 2 GB of DDR1 RAM. I am, however, hoping to get this bumped up to 4 GB in the near future. For the display, the unit is shipped with a rather measly ATI Radeon 9600 with 128 MB of video memory. Because of this, I took matters into my own hands and flashed an ATI Radeon 9800 I had lying around. Though risky, it paid off as my PowerMac G5 now has a much better GPU. As you can tell by now, this unit isn't in the greatest condition. There are lots of scratches on the chassis, unfortunately. On top of that, the inside of the unit somehow started oxidizing. In some areas it is very bad. Not much can be done about it though. It doesn't seem to affect the machine's usability, and the logic board shows no signs of corrosion. So now that we've loaded into macOS 10.5, what exactly can we do with this computer? Well, you'd be surprised. There is a community of folks who are still clinging to the PowerPC architecture and have developed some nifty applications for PowerPC Macs. I'm sure you've heard about most of these applications by now, but I'm going to go over a few anyways. 10.4 Fox is a port of Mozilla Firefox for PowerPC Macs. Currently, it is the best working browser for my tests. Despite this, its major drawback is that, well, it's a bit slow. Installing uBlock can definitely help, as this will mitigate against JavaScript-hungry website ads, but it only goes so far. Despite this, I had a rather pleasant time browsing the web on my G5. I was able to scroll through eBay, Kijiji, check email via the web, and even do some just regular research. Maybe increasing the RAM might help, though I think if I had the faster G5 CPUs like the 2.7 GHz, I'd notice less delay. Oh, and before you ask, YouTube does not work on any browser. WebKit is another browser for PowerPC based Macs. I actually found it to be a lot faster than 10.4 Fox, but its drawback is that despite its HTML5 capabilities, it's still severely lacking in compatibility. It really had a tough time rendering web pages properly. Honestly, WebKit is best used to replace Safari for apps that use Safari to display web pages, like your email client, for example. Audacity is a program that I've used for years now. I've used it to create mixes, convert audio file formats, and just tinker with music. Overall, my experience was quite pleasant on the G5 using Audacity. Obviously, the exporting of files isn't as fast as what I'm used to, but that's not really a big issue. I'd wait until I get a RAM upgrade to start making mixes though, as they can get quite intense in terms of memory usage. Microsoft Office 2008. What am I going to say about it? It works like you'd expect it to. There's really nothing to say. And it brings DocX compatibility to your PowerPC Mac. Being somebody that was forced to use Windows for a while, iLife is kind of a new suite of software to me. I've never really used it before, and I really want to learn how to use GarageBand so I can start making some better mixes, if that's even possible in GarageBand. However, being said, iMovie is an awesome program. Even the 2006 version is really, really good. It's so much better than Windows Movie Maker. And I'm very excited to say that amazingly, this entire video is being recorded, rendered, and exported on the PowerMac G5. It actually works pretty well. I was very surprised. So when I figured out that iMovie could play back 1080p video files from my camera without an issue, I thought VLC Media Player would be a breeze. I was quite wrong. I'm not sure why, but 1080p video completely fails when being played back in VLC. Maybe it's the way iMovie imports the videos and converts them, or maybe it's the way VLC plays the video files back. I don't know. But even QuickTime was really choppy, and I don't understand why. I'm gonna have to do more research into this. Maybe it's the GPU, I don't know. As you'd expect, iTunes works without any issues. As it should, obviously. I have the last version of iTunes installed, well, the last version for PowerPC. Since I am someone who doesn't really like to use modern tech that much for my own reasons, this version of iTunes can actually talk to my iPhone 4S running iOS 6. That is really cool. The email app is an app that I use a lot on my iMac and my MacBook. Unfortunately, I was having some issues getting the email app to work under Leopard. It'll start downloading my emails, then give up about a quarter of the way through, stopping at the exact same email every time. I'm not sure why this is, and I couldn't get my email set up as SMTP either, just POP3. ATI Accelerator 1. This is a nifty app that I use to get my Radeon 9800 Non-Pro Edition up to clock speeds close to the standard 9800 Pro Edition. Now, it's very useful, but apparently it doesn't work with all ATI Mac GPUs, flashed or not. So honestly, I don't even really know if my overclock is taking effect. If you wanted a hard-baked solution that for sure would work, you'd actually need to use a program called Graphic Accelerator to modify your ROM file and manually change the core and memory clock values. Adobe Photoshop CS2. It's pretty good, and it works as you'd expect it to once again, being that it is an application designed to run on PowerPC processors. Editing images is possible, though the software is rather dated now and it takes some getting used to, but definitely an option. Alright, so I went over some basic use cases. This is where I need to break the news to you though. Everyone's use case is different. For me, I am by no means a power user. I just need my computer to browse the web, play YouTube videos, play music, on some rare occasions play HD videos, edit video footage, sometimes edit photos, edit music files, and importantly, open Office documents. So for me, the PowerMac G5 has been able to do almost all of this pretty well. I'm actually quite impressed for a computer that has an architecture that's really only used in gaming consoles like the Nintendo Wii. Though I suppose the same tech is in cell phones, as most cell phones are ARM-based, meaning they use the RISC instruction set just like the PowerMac G5's G5 processor. Since the PowerMac G5 met my expectations, I'd say that it's still usable in 2018. You do have to be a bit patient though. I'm still trying to figure out how to get native 1080p videos to play, and I'm in the middle of figuring out how to get YouTube running. I came close by using WebKit, but it's still choppy and stutters. Also, keep in mind the specs of my PowerMac G5. Mine is a bit more low-end with the two 2GHz G5s, 2GB of RAM, and a Radeon 9800 with only 128MB of VGA DDR RAM. If you're looking at a G5, I recommend nothing less than the dual 2.7GHz G5s, and I also recommend you ditch that miserable 9600 GPU in favor of a better GPU. Whether or not you decide to buy a PC version of the GPU and flash it with a Mac ROM to save some money is up to you. With all that being said, thanks for watching. I hope this video has helped you out if you're on the fence about picking up a used G5. This is kind of a different type of video, as I'm not really used to making videos that are kind of this professional. So stay tuned for some more old Apple tech versus modern era videos.